Welcome to my NIST CyberSecurity Framework Awareness Training Program. The following is an overview of how we're going to deliver this NIST CyberSecurity Framework training. There's two broad general categories. These categories include the knowledge transfer methodology and the participatory learning techniques. Our knowledge transfer methodology consists of a 40-minute lesson plan with learning objectives, pre-test, the framework, delivery of the reference model, lessons, activities, post-test, questionnaire, and finally a summary. The participatory learning activities include creating a roles and responsibility matrix, updating the conformity matrix, creating a corrective and preventative action plan for each of the processes, assessing the maturity of the processes, and creating a work breakdown structure. Our approach has been carefully designed for adult learners to ensure that they get the maximum benefit from our course. My name is Mark Bernard, and I have about 29 years of experience in privacy and security sector. The benefits of adopting a framework include controlling operational costs and eliminating unplanned expenses. These benefits also include reducing or eliminating exposure to cyberborne risks and improving operational resilience. Another benefit is establishing a real-time, anytime evidence-based cybersecurity program in case someone has an inquiry. The fourth benefit is improving the management of compliance with regulatory requirements and reducing the costs of Big Four accounting firms. The 40-minute lesson plan is based on the following. The first 10 minutes of the lesson is to get an idea of how much experience the students have by doing a pre-test. During the next 20 minutes of the lesson, we review the instructional objective and deliver the curriculum, as well as doing some testing and activities. And then that is followed by 7 minutes of written feedback where it's possible to do. Finally, when the assignments have been completed and handed in, the instructor will review them and provide feedback to the students. Our curriculum is carefully designed for the adult learner. We recognize that there are many different learning styles, not just one. Some people like to learn from concrete experience. They get good feelings from this, and these endorphins help them to remember. Some learners learn from reflective observation. They like to watch people do the activity and then they pick it up from there. Some learners like to learn from abstract conceptualization. They like to think about a subject before they actually execute it. And finally, we have a group of learners who like to learn from doing things. This is called abstract conceptualization. There are also subsets of the learning styles inventory. There are accommodators, there are divergers, there are people who like to assimilate knowledge, and then there are convergers. There are 6 stages to learning. One is knowledge, understanding a subject is comprehension, and then being able to apply those skills that you've picked up and the knowledge that you've learned about. And then there is the analysis of that subject. That's where our course will be going. We won't be touching evaluation or synthesis today. We're also going to help our students do an inventory of their current skills. We want our students to get the most by leveraging what they already know. The following example is based on risk management, but it could be curtailed and designed to address a specific skill set. For example, if we want to know how much a student knows about a subject, we might ask them, tell us about that subject. For instance, risk management. Then if we want to understand if they know what they're talking about, we might say, how is risk management used within your organization? If we want to see if they've reached level 3 application, we might ask the question, what are the steps that a person needs to take to execute risk assessments? The target for our knowledge transfer is level 3 and level 4. To assess level 4, we may ask a question like, tell me about a time when you solved a problem involving how risk management was used in your organization. We provided additional sample questions to test for level 5 and level 6. If you wanted to test for level 5, you might ask a question like, can you tell me about a time when you had to evaluate the effectiveness of risk management in use within your organization? And a good level 6 question is, what are the steps involved with the integration of risk management within existing operational processes? The skills inventory is a useful tool. It will help our students. I know how useful skills inventory systems are because I actually designed and built one for a company that I worked for many years ago. It helped with corporate development and performance development. Using this tool, we can easily map what the current skills are of the employee and then set a path for what their future skills might look like and help them to develop those skills with our programs. During our course in the delivery, students will pick up additional skills such as project management. They'll learn how to initiate a cybersecurity project, and also we'll jump into how to plan for that. And we may not touch on the execution so much, but we will help them understand how project management works and how they can control the project. Learning objectives. They are so important to setting the expectations and planning the path for learning. Instructional objectives help set the target for knowledge transfer. Clearly defined objectives are crucial to success. Clearly defined objectives help set the basis for selection of the instructional material and the technique used to deliver. Clearly defined objectives also help set the stage for learning when we've achieved our goal. Clearly defined objectives also help the learner prepare for the course and the material which they're going to receive. There are 3 different types of learning. The first type of learning objective involves cognitive or intellectual outcomes where the student picks up new knowledge. The second type of learning objective involves psychomotor, where the student picks up new physical skills. The third type of learning objective is called affective, where the student picks up new attitudes, values, or beliefs. 3 well-defined characteristics of learning objectives include performance. What will the learner have accomplished by the end of the session? In this case, we have a number of activities that will benefit the learner. Another element involves the conditions. How will the learner be learning the lessons? Could be online, could be face-to-face class. Another element of well-defined objectives involves the criteria or the quality of the assignments. The pretest is an important part of the delivery process. The pretest helps the instructor to gauge the current knowledge of the student. The pretest helps the instructor to learn what the students already know. The pretest also helps to motivate the students. The reference model helps to simplify the processes you're going to learn about from the NIST cybersecurity framework. There are 5 domains within the NIST cybersecurity framework, starting with identify, protect is the second one, detect, this is where the monitoring comes in, responding to incidents is the 4th, and of course recovery, planning for the recovery after an incident. The actual framework that's within the NIST cybersecurity standard looks like this. It's a table-driven kind of thing. It has a description of the controls and also control codes. Our NIST cybersecurity framework course consists of 23 lessons. There are 5 major activities to help the knowledge transfer process. The first activity will involve filling out a roles and responsibilities matrix, and we'll provide the template for that. The second activity involves updating a conformity matrix, and we'll explain how that's going to become a really useful tool in your program. In order to allow us to customize the deliverables, we're going to help you create CAPAs, corrective actions, and preventative action. The fourth activity involves assessing the maturity of your existing processes to know where the beginning point is. The fifth activity involves updating a work breakdown structure. This will help you choose the skills and the people who need to be involved, as well as set a timeline. This is a key part of something called a project charter, which will help your program. Based on our own project implementation of NIST cybersecurity frameworks, we believe that these documents will be of value to you. An important part of the learning and skills transfer process is called participatory learning. Communication between the instructor and the student is crucial to the knowledge transfer process. This communication has to be constructive. This communication also has to be very specific. The communication has to consider the needs of the receiver. This communication has to target opportunities for improvement. This communication only happens if it's solicited. This communication also has to be well timed. This communication also has to be clearly communicated. Communication is a two-way street, so giving communication is one side, but receiving is another side that we're going to look at now. When receiving feedback, we ask for specifics. We also try to paraphrase to make sure that it was clearly understood. When the opportunity exists, we like to make eye contact. We're open to receive all feedback and filter out the good from the bad. If something wasn't explained properly, we ask for them to clarify. Sincerity and honesty is a key part of communication. Building on the positive creates a good foundation for learning. Attempting to prioritize will help us focus on the areas that need help. Separating the emotion from the content will help us to be effective. Now let's switch to the post-test. This is a key part to understand if the skills and knowledge were transferred as intended by our objective. You may recall from our instructional objective overview is there are 3 key areas that we're focusing on. Knowledge transfer or cognitive skills can be tested in a number of ways, including multiple choice questions or tests. Testing for skills transfer can be done through the activities that we provided and the feedback. We've looked at tests for cognitive and psychomotor. Now we're looking at affective, which can be conveyed through an essay. During the wrap-up of the lesson, we like to do a Q&A where possible. Participants are invited to send their questions into the instructor. The instructor will respond to the questions with answers. How can secure knowledge management help you? We provide 4 general areas of services. Our first set of services involves certifying and training employees as well as organizations. Our second set of services involves providing materials for programs. The third set of services involves consulting and providing the skills and the knowledge that you may not have in-house today. The fourth set of services allows you to outsource the auditor or security manager role or security monitoring. Thank you for your time reviewing our introduction. We're sure that you're going to get value and benefit from the NIST Cybersecurity Framework lessons.